Let me smash. Please.
Alrighty boys, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be doing a review on the Brood Slicer in Fortnite Save the World. This is the newest weapon to come to the game via the Black Metal set, and I haven't reviewed any of the Black Metal set up until this point, but the only reason I'm reviewing this one, and this is a weapon that is a Scythe from this set, is because yesterday we had a content update release, but also kind of not released. The Bladey Acres questline has just come out, and for any of you guys that are, wanting to play Fortnite right now, you can literally play this questline. There was no download, there was no downtime, there was no announcement. It just got, boop, it just got plugged into the game at reset. So we have the Bladey Acres questline. You can earn this weapon via this questline on the quest Bury the Hatchet. Now, this weapon being a part of the Black Metal set kind of raises a lot of questions on whether this weapon is going to be good, because, do I want to put in the time to actually earn this weapon? That's what this video is all about. I haven't reviewed any of the other Black Metal set, weapons, because I just didn't like them. They are doo-doo butts. Is this one any different? Well, yeah, it kind of is. So the weapon rolls that I did go with on this weapon is a crit damage, crit rate, fire, because you are locked to fire and physical, crit damage, and a damage. The final perk can be adds up to 80% bonus damage based on the percentage of your missing health, but later I will explain why that perk is not as good as you think it is. The kind of, weapon perk that this thing has, the unique perk that it comes with, is stunning or knocking back an enemy reduces your current health by 8% and deals 26 to 149 base damage based on the percentage of your missing health in a 0.5 tile radius, and can only occur every 5 seconds. Basically what it's saying is that every time you stun or knock back an enemy, there's going to be a mini pulse of an explosion, and it's going to do some damage. And it's actually pretty useful. It's pretty cool looking as well. Yeah, pretty decent perk overall, I guess. Now, the hero loadout that I did go with on this weapon is going to be Deadly Blade Crash, as in my opinion she is by far the best melee hero in the entirety of the game. The team perk is totally rocking out, and with the support team we have Bringing Down the House, so that I can activate it with heavy attacks, as well as Subwoofer, so I can activate it anytime I want, Assassination, Scythe to meet you, and Survivalist. So that is going to help me get out as much damage as possible, get out as many crits as possible, and have a little bit of sustainability with that Survivalist. Now, with this weapon, I kind of want to talk about that last perk a little bit, because that last perk, you can either have the 30% damage like I have, or you can have the adds up to 80% bonus damage depending on how low your health is. And this is kind of how the Black Metal set works. The lower the health you have, the more damage you're supposed to do, and that is what is unique to this weapon, or this entire weapon set. Well, the thing that's unique to the Brood Slicer is that just completely ignore that entirely and you have yourself a decent Scythe. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys two smasher tests, one of which is going to be one where I bring my health all the way down so that I can then take advantage of this 80% damage bonus and then actually kill the smasher, and then the next one is going to be with a totally rockin' out build, which is the one that I just showed you, without me even trying to even lower my health and just going and killing the smasher just right then and there. And so what you're going to notice is that one, I killed the smasher in one hit faster with the totally rockin' out build, but two, because of totally rockin' out, I have even a faster attack speed in general. So you kill the smasher way quicker because you have more consistent crits, and those more consistent crits will always matter more than having lower health for bonus damage. Crit is just always better in this game, and especially with Deadly Blade Crash with her affliction ticks, it is just going to absolutely blow this thing out of the water if you're even going to attempt to try to use this weapon with low health. And even using a melee weapon with low health is, well, counterproductive. You really just want to try to sustain your survivability. You want to try to live as long as you can. And whenever you're purposely bringing your health down to try to get extra damage, you're just putting yourself in more of a dangerous area, and that's something that you don't want to do. With those two smasher tests, I've literally just proved that you don't need to do this with the Brood Slicer, and the great thing about at the Brood Slicer is that this is one of the weapons in the black metal set that does not need that damage bonus whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and put up a list of 3 different scythes with 3 basic stats that come along with them. You're going to have the Brood Slicer, the Steam Thrasher, and the Neon Scythe. We're going to have the damage stat, attack speed stat, and the impact stat listed below these weapons. Now, the Brood Slicer is the worst out of all of these when it comes to the attack speed, but the best when it comes to the impact. The Steam Thrasher is the best whenever it comes to the damage, and the Neon Scythe is the best whenever it comes to attack speed, but worse whenever it comes to the damage and the impact. Now, for those of you guys that don't already know, the Steam Thrasher is the best scythe in the game leading up to the Brood Slicer. So can the Brood Slicer tango with the Steam Thrasher? So we're just going to go and push the Neon Scythe to the side. The only reason I mention it is because it is a relevant weapon, but we're going to focus on the Steam Thrasher versus the Brood Slicer in this situation. Now, is the Brood Slicer better than the Steam Thrasher? I'm just going to have to go ahead and say it, and it's just an absolutely not. It's not going to ever be better than the Steam Thrasher. The Steam Thrasher is going to have better damage. The Steam Thrasher is going to have better attack speed. It might have a little bit lower impact, but you are going to have so many different pros with this weapon comparatively to the Brood Slicer that it's just not going to be able to compete. Whenever looking at the Steam Thrasher, the pros that you have are you can have any element that you want, whenever the Brood Slicer is going to lock you to physical and fire. You have a better heavy attack, which causes you to spin all around. It's called the helicopter build, and it's one of the best heavy attacks in the entirety of the game. One of the best ways of clearing out huge groups of enemies. It's absolutely fantastic. And of course, you have the better damage and the better attack speed. Now, whenever you look at the Brood Slicer, the only thing it has going for it is the better impact. And aside from that, it's locked to fire and physical, has lower damage, lower, attack speed. It has a weak heavy attack and all that kind of stuff. And it's just not going to be able to compete with the Steam Thrasher. Now, when it comes to the Neon Scythe, I'm personally, I'm not much of a melee person, but on paper, the Brood Slicer definitely looks like it will compete with the likes of the Neon Scythe. And, via gameplay and what I've used of the Brood Slicer, it's a pretty decent scythe. It's one that I have a lot of fun with, and I find that, well, it's pretty enjoyable. I'm not one that knows the most about melee weapons, but just taking a look at, the base stats of these weapons and being able to use them as well, it's just, the Brood Slicer's alright. It's an okay weapon. Neon Scythe might have better perks or something like that. I honestly don't know. But, from using this weapon and also using the likes of the Steam Thrasher, the Brood Slicer just isn't that bad. It's surprisingly good. And in my opinion, after maxing out every single weapon and using all of them in the black metal set, I would argue that the Brood Slicer is the best out of all the weapons that have come out. Just for me personally, I have personally enjoyed this weapon. It's one weapon that, even with the kind of the flaws that it does have, right, because of the weapon set that it belongs to, basically making it where you have to get lower on health and you don't really get much of a return, you can just ignore that entirely, and this weapon will actually still be pretty decent based off of the perks that it comes with and the base stats that it does have. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That is pretty much my kind of, I guess, review of the Brood Slicer. Yeah, that's really all I have to really say about it. It's a pretty decent weapon. It's not going to be as good as the Steam Thrasher, but is it worth picking up? I mean, I'd say yes. Is it worth perking up? If you have the Steam Thrasher, no. If you have the Neon Scythe, then maybe no. I don't know. It's a pretty, I don't really regret it. I honestly don't regret it. I regret all the other weapons. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I have stayed up until 4:30 a.m. to get this video out for you guys because I have just been going through the quest line all night. This night has been hectic, but I'm so glad to get this video out to you guys. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Consider subscribing because I make videos like this almost every single day. And I'll see you guys next time.